together.
Remember, until it seeps into your bones like the December wind. Remember and remember and remember, until remembrance wins. Till all remember wins, remember when there was nothing but remembrance. In the presence of beginningless's never-ending present tense. Remember till a voice proclaims, what did we forget again? To the part that has resistance to remember starts to giving in. Remember, then remember it again. A spirit greater than the universe has come and hid in skin. Remember the forgiver to the point that you forget your sins. Remembrance the giver until all your gifts are sent from him. Remember it's the giver until when you give, it's really him. Giving and receiving what is need if you are given him. Remember the reviver until when you die you live again. Remember the annihilator till your eye subsists in him. Remember the inspired one who taught us how to get to him. Peace upon his soul and on his family and his holy friends. Peace upon his soul and on his family and his holy friends. The one who rose to even higher than an angel ever dare ascend. Then out of love and mercy he returned into the world of men. Remember the all-seeing until all that you can see is him. And if you cannot witness this, then know this witness witnesses. Through your seeing vision, even though your feeble vision's dim. And when you draw near until he loves you, who is seeing then? You didn't throw when you threw, but we threw through your blessed hand. You didn't throw when you threw, but we threw through your blessed hand. Are you surprised the Most High could throw through a mortal man? Hasn't he told you he molded you from something insignificant, then spoke to your clay as he blew his spirit into it? Remember the beloved until love itself transcends your skin and radiates beyond you into everything that was and is and will be if he wills it to be. In a million moments, Kulayomin, each affair he begins again. Polish the mirror so his light you reflect within. The rust that is formed on its face is forgetfulness. Each breath is a priceless chance to remember him, and the polish of hearts is the art of remembrance. Yes, the polish of hearts is this art of remembrance. You know this one all together. What a beautiful group. It's nice to hear the heart sing. I just met these individuals a couple days ago. Let's give a round of applause for the band. And it's a proof that music, and particularly spiritual music, is a language that connects hearts, because we only got one half hour to rehearse, and then we're like, let's go. So the hearts communicate, and all of our hearts are communicating as we are in this beautiful gathering. You know, we mentioned the art of remembrance. In a certain sense, each one of us is an artist. Whether you're up here making music, or whether you're singing, or whether you're creating visual arts, or even if you don't consider yourself an artist, you are an artist. You are an artist each moment you make a mark. When you die, you step out of the painting and look at your art. Your life is your work of art. Once I went to one of my teachers, a great spiritual master, and he told me, he said, it's nice that you write poems, and that's good. He said, but the most important thing is to make your life a poem for God. You have to make your life an offering. So each one of us is an artist in reality. And the goal is that we make as much beauty as we possibly can. We all know the word ihsan, which is often translated into English as goodness, but it really means beauty. And the question, what we're called to in the sacred scriptures of mankind, is to be those who work beauty on the earth, and not those who work ugliness. There's enough ugliness being worked on the earth, so may we be the beauty makers. And a story that Rumi tells to illustrate this, and the importance of truly being humble to achieve this, he tells the story of a great grammarian and a boatman. And the grammarian is a great scholar and a specialist in the complexities of language. And he goes to cross the sea to a ferryman to take him across. And as they're going, he's speaking to the ferryman, and he sees this ferryman has very poor speech and broken language. And so he says to him, didn't you ever learn to speak properly? And the ferryman, he said, no, I had to drop out of school at a very young age to help feed my family. And so the grammarian says, then you've wasted half your life. And so they continue on a bit more. And when they're in the middle of the sea, the boat springs a leak. And it starts to sink. And so the boatman says to the grammarian, did you ever learn to swim? He said, swim? I'm a great scholar. I've been reading my books and writing my books. I don't have time for child's play. He said, then I'm afraid you've wasted all of your life. And then Rumi says, what we want is the nahu of nahu. Nahu in Arabic and Persian is grammar, and nahu means self-effacement, removal of the ego, erasing the ego. And he said, that's the true grammar that we want, the grammar of egolessness. And if we want to float to the top of the sea, right? We know that people that can't swim, they struggle and then they sink. But if you were to die, you would raise up to the top of the sea, you float. So he said we have to die before we die. Mutu qabla an tamutu. In other words, have an ego death, and then we'll float to the top of the sea. And we'll experience things through true humility and through true light. And so his message is, it's not about how much knowledge you have, or what degrees you have, or what job you have, or how many letters are on your license plate. Here, they explain that to me. What is it about? How selfless you are. How much you polish the mirror of your heart to truly reflect the light of the divine names and attributes. And the one who has more rahmah is closer to Ar-Rahman. And the one who is more just is closer to Al-Adl. And the one who is more kind is closer to Ar-Ra'uf. And the one who is wise, more wise, is closer to Al-Hakim. So all of the divine names, the more that we embody them and reflect them, the more that we become Rabbani. We become reflective of the divine names and attributes. So may we be like this, and may this beautiful weekend be a means for all of us to come more deeper into reflectivity of the divine names and attributes. So with that, I'm just going to leave you with one more poem. And this is a poem about patience. Because one of the beautiful messages of Rumi is that if we approach the difficulties in our life, the trials and tribulations properly, it will be a means for our spiritual growth. We shouldn't see that if we have difficulties that Allah is upset with us. It could be that these are the means that Allah is drawing us near. And so famously he said, the wound is the place where the light enters you. And he said, if you're irritated with every rub, how will you ever become polished? It's a different way to look at the difficulties of life. Perhaps it's the polishing, it's the means of transforming our ego self and drawing near to the divine. We even look at the Quran, and what is it called? The story of Yusuf, Surah Yusuf, Ahsana Qasas. It is of the best of stories. But imagine if that was your life. Your brothers tried to kill you, threw you in a well, then you were sold into slavery, then you were a slave in a foreign land, then your mistress seduced you and blamed you, and then you went to prison. You would be like, how is this the best story? Right? But Allah is telling us something really important. That this world is the world of trial and tribulation so that our true spiritual nature can come out. And if we look at the greatest people of humankind, the most illuminated people, they are people that overcame great difficulties, and it was through those difficulties that their light could shine. So this poem is called A Station Called Patience, and it's about that. There was a station called Patience that few had attained. Most got off before that stop and only knew it in name. Those who basked in the sun but didn't care for the rain were perplexed at those few who remained on the train. Paid them no mind and were blind.